Hey everybody, welcome back. This is some petty neighbor drama that's on another level.
So I'm driving and I see this little thing flickering in my thing and I keep forgetting to grab it, so then it gets all wet, and then I'm glad I didn't grab it until like I was at the place that I needed to go, because if I saw it before I left, I would have been pissed going there and pissed coming back, because this was left on under my windshield, right? And it says, and I quote, "Please, do not park in my space! Exclamation point, it's my space." No, it's not. There is not a visitor parking lot in this condo. Well, no, dude, it's a condo. Why would there be parking inside the condo? Anyway, do not park here again. Thanks. First of all, I'm not a visitor. Okay, I live here. I have a parking pass, if you would have checked. And not to mention, we each have a parking space with a number on it. This spot don't have a number on it. So that means anyone who has a parking pass can park here. Weird, baby. My space. Yours? Your space? What the are you talking about? And all I'm saying is, I don't know who this woman, it has to be a woman, because there is an undeniable amount of attitude in this letter. So anyway, like any normal person would do, I am going to put it on the door with another note stating, you can't tell me what to do, and the next time you want to say something, maybe you should check first.
Okay, so here's the note they left. Here's the note I left. Pause it if you want to read it. I don't really give a but it's war, baby.
No, we're going to war, but we're going to read this first just to ensure. Hear ye, hear ye. To whoever wrote this rude note and left it on my car last night, this is in fact not your parking space. Anyone with a parking pass can park in any of the 6 free spaces, which you would have known if you had taken 2 seconds to check instead of writing this. I live in this building and I am entitled to park there. If you have a problem with it, you can email Alex. There is no spot number to the left of number 9 in which I was parked. Next time, leave your apartment number so we can talk about it as adults, even though you're wrong. Okay, thanks. Thanks. I like how you underlined the thanks exactly like her. You have to promise me though that from now on you will always park in that parking space. Like, I think that what you should do is you should get an entirely new car, leave your other car in that parking space forever, and just drive the new one. Oh God, we have a part 2. We have a part 2.
All right, we got a response. And it's my car in her spot. For 2 seconds yesterday.
Wait.
Last night, I was parked in that free space, okay? And homegirl waited till the next day to put that note on my car. So obviously, I think it's the spot that I'm currently in. You know, weird.
Plot
If
twist.
the note isn't on my car in the spot that was hers, you know what I mean? And second of all, this is one of the neighbors that we know, and she just decided not to come knock on my door and say something. Homegirl knows we live here. Homegirl knows which car is mine. Next time you want to leave a letter on my car, you should probably put the number on it if I'm not in that spot that you claim I was in. And also, she said something about responding with a note. You're the one who started the notes. You were the... Also, this woman has my phone number. I just don't understand. So if you're trying to tell someone not to park in your spot and they're not in your spot anymore, and you don't clarify that, how am I supposed to know?
I don't want to make sure the note would stay long enough without becoming non-readable due to the heavy rain.
Okay. Well then if you're going to put it on the second day, then tell me where I was. If like I don't know what your spot is if you're not telling me what your spot is when I'm not in your spot.
You're so mad.
My bad, I forgot my phone inside. I was going to grab it really quick. Also, you should probably tell me who you are.
Especially
don't park in my spot. Whose spot? Mine, but don't park in that's what she's saying right now.
So you did park in her spot. Jesus. Girl, I was on your side! I love when things get so petty that we're trying to just be like,
Yeah, well, you could have done it like this. Yeah, well, you could have done it like that.
you ever notice that arguments get like that?
Well, I would have appreciated if you did this.
No, you wouldn't have. You would have just found something else to dislike about it.
Well, why didn't you text me? Well, why didn't you call me? Well, why didn't you leave the phone number?
Bessie, why didn't you shut the up before posting this to TikTok? I'm kidding, but seriously, that's funny. So wait, you did park where you weren't supposed to? You know all the things about where you can park and still parks in someone's spot? And this is real funny. This is very funny. This is a great plot twist. So you were in someone's spot and they couldn't park there and left a note asking you not to park there. Seems legit, actually. Like, literally, like, I understand you're mad, but just take the L on this one, girl. It's okay. You made a mistake. No problemo. All good. Just don't do it again.
Saw the murderer walking around and she didn't even leave her room. Would you have left your room?
Okay, this is the perfect time for the story time that I've been needing to tell since I moved like 6 months ago. Okay, some context. The reason that I moved is my across the hall neighbor had started stalking me, and they tried to break in my apartment. Okay, let me just set the scene for you guys. So this man is like 45, maybe 50, like way older than me, right? So from like the moment this man had moved in, he had been trying to talk to me like, oh, you're so beautiful. Like, oh, when are you gonna let me take you on a date? When are you gonna let me give you a massage? Like, literally, I wanted to throw up. But I made it super clear that I was not interested, like super clear. But like that did not stop him from still trying to talk to me literally every time he would see me. Keep in mind, he lives directly across the hall from me, and I have 2 big dogs. This is one of them. This is Deuce.
Good.
He's a pit bull mastiff mix.
Nice.
So I have to walk my dogs a lot. Obviously, my other dog was a Doberman, so he needed a lot of exercise.
Perfect combination.
So every time I would like open my door or go in the hallway, he could hear that I was in the hallway because he lived directly across from me, and they were old wooden floors. So every time he would hear me go outside, guess who was outside? Guess who was following me outside? Bestie across the hall. So he started like going out of his way to pet the dogs and like talk to the dogs, and he would say weird stuff to me. Like I would just keep walking, but he would be like, oh, I need the dogs to like me. I need the dogs to think I'm not scary. I need the dogs to think I'm friendly.
Creepy.
What? So fast forward to this one particular Sunday, he must have not had work or something, I don't know. But my man was pretty cross-faded, right? So he like this day, literally, it was worse than it had ever been. I took my dogs for a walk. He like was following me everywhere. He was making me so uncomfortable. So I was like, whatever, I'm gonna remove myself from the situation. So I took the dogs and we went to the park. He follows me outside. I go to my car. I leave. So when I come back in, I go through the back door, which is like a door and then the long hallway, and our 2 apartments were right by the front, like the front door, but you could see all the way down the hallway. So he hears me and my 2 horses walking down the hallway and comes out. So he's standing in front of my door and he like won't let me in. He keeps trying to talk to me like, why won't you talk to me? Why won't you be my friend? Why won't you talk to me? Why won't you let me pet the dogs? And at this point, like, I'm very uncomfortable. So I literally physically move him out of the way and go into my apartment and like shut the door and lock it and watch him through my peephole just watching me. So I wait for him to go back into his apartment. Like, I'm watching him, and I had gotten the dogs dog food, so I had to go back to the car to get it. But like my gut feeling was like, Emily, lock your door. Like, he's been real weird today. And I like so quietly went back out to my car, but I locked my door. So this is the point of my video, that like I completely understand why that girl froze. So I'm going to like walk back into my building, literally go to open the door. I'm holding an 80-pound bag of dog food, and lo and behold, I see this man trying to pick my lock. Okay, I'm sorry, part 2.
This isn't even petty neighbor drama. This is just like hellish neighbor drama. As soon as he said,
I'm trying to get the dogs to like me,
shivers, okay? Why say something like that? It's because he wants the dogs to think he's not a very scary stalker man. Very scary stalker man. Yeah, because you've got very scary dogs. Hopefully they're trained. I hope you feel safe with those dogs. Did you teach your dog sick 'em? Because I would. Cinco was in protection training. He would have got him. Honestly, I genuinely feel like all single women should have a very scary dog. It's crazy that it comes to that point, eh? But it's a good thing to have when you live in a city. When you live anywhere, really.
Okay, so I'm looking inside, like, from the hallway, and I can see down the hallway, and I literally see this man with his hand, like, trying to open my door, realizing it's locked. So this leads me to believe this was not the first time he tried to open my door after I walked away. And he realizes it's locked, so he pulls out a bobby pin, right, and starts trying to pick my lock.
Oh,
I'm
no.
literally watching him with my own 2 eyes.
Jail.
Like, looking down the hallway, watching him trying to break in my place. I mean, if he had actually gotten in, it really wouldn't have, like, gone well for him, because my Doberman would have eaten him alive. Like, literally eaten him. But, so this was the point of my original video as to, like, why I completely understand why she froze and, like, why she didn't leave her room. So I had never really felt like this before, but I'm standing there holding dog food, really thinking, like, what am I gonna do in this moment? Like, really, what can I do? Like, all the hair on the back of my neck stood up, on my arms, everything. Like, it was just like this wave of, like, oh my God, like, genuinely, what do I do right now? So after watching this go on for about, like, 20 seconds, I, like, snap out of it, right? I shut the door really hard so he hears me. He looks down the hallway, he sees me, he pretends he doesn't see me, and he stands up and tries to walk casually outside and then back into his apartment. Like, bestie, you know I saw you.
Literally jail.
I know I saw you.
Breaking
So,
and
like,
entering.
why are we pretending? You know?
should have just let him do it so it was breaking and
I call
entering.
my mom, freaking out, and I'm like, Mom, this man just tried to break into my apartment. And obviously she tells me to call the police.
Yes.
And just being a typical girl, I was like, oh my God, no, like, I can't call the police.
What?
It's doing so much. So then I call, like, my building manager, and he's like, Emily, you need to call the police.
Yes.
And I was like, okay, maybe I need to call the police.
Yes.
But, like, in that moment, I really thought I was doing a lot for calling the police. Hindsight, looking back, like, I should have called them the moment I saw that.
Yes.
So I called the police, and they basically didn't want to come because, like, he hadn't actually broken in. But eventually they send an officer. I have to wait for him. Like, at this point, I'm sitting in my car. Like, I'm too scared to go back into my apartment. I wait like an hour for the cop to show up. He shows up. He was actually a really nice guy. And basically he was like, well, I can't file a report unless I go talk to him and, like, get his side of the story. And I was like, respectfully, I really don't want you to do that, just because, like, I still live here and I don't want him to necessarily know I called the cops, because, like, also our windows didn't shut or lock, and I lived on the first floor, so he could have easily, like, climbed in my window. Just, like, a lot. I was like, I just don't want him to know, like, I called the police.
He should. Dude, he should know. He absolutely should know that you called the police. Maybe he'll back off. I feel like unless you actually get a report, like, you could get him kicked out of the building. Like, if you don't do anything, then you literally just have to live across the hall from this guy. Come on now. Listen, I understand in situations like this, it's kind of like, oh, the police aren't going to do anything, blah, blah, blah. But, like, girl, this is literally your safety. You have to try. Come on now. They act like it's not an issue until he attacks, but even after that, it's he said, she said. Okay, I get the reluctance to report it, but there has to be some sort of paper trail, okay? There has to be.
Okay, so at this point, the cop is at my building, and I'm outside talking to him. Also, a little side note, one of my teammates, love her, she came over because I was so scared to be there by myself. So she came over and she was with me, so I wasn't by myself at this point. So I'm talking to the cop and I'm explaining to him what happened, and he was like, obviously that's very scary and it's not okay, but unless we can talk to him, like, there's kind of nothing I can do. So I was like, well, I don't want you to talk to him because, like, again, I'm gonna live here, blah, blah, blah. But basically, like, there was a million ways for him to still get into my apartment, and, like, I didn't know if I was gonna be able to move right away, so I was like, I can't really have him know that I called the cops on him, because if he's crazy enough to try to break in my place when I was just home 30 seconds ago, he's crazy enough to try it again. So the cop gives me all this information and it's like, here's how to file a restraining order. Like, that is what I suggest that you do. So at this point, I look at all of my options. At this point, I've called my coaching staff to, like, let them know what's going on. And they were like, in no uncertain terms, are you, like, you're not staying there anymore. Like, you're not allowed to stay there. So find somewhere to stay tonight. So I go and I stay with my teammate, and at this point I'm starting to talk to the management company of my apartment complex and my building manager. Because, like, he's got to go. I'm sorry. I don't really want to move, right? Because I'm only 7 months into my lease. I don't want to break it. I don't want to uproot my life and move. Also, mind you, while all of this is happening, it's, like, the end of the season, so we're going into, like, tournament play. So my building manager is, like, fully on my side. He has a daughter, so he, like, understands how I felt. So he goes, he, like, pounds on this man's door. He tells him, like, stay away from me, do not speak to me, don't try to pet my dogs, like, blah, blah, blah. Please, I just need y'all to hear this man's explanation for why he did what he did. He tries to tell my building manager that he just thought it was his apartment. Sir, you came out of your apartment. I watched him walk back in. He came out of his apartment to try to break into
he done this
mine.
before.
Be for real. Be expeditiously for real. So, we get my management, like apartment management involved, right? Tell me why. At first, they were on my side and they were like, yeah, we're gonna evict him. Like, he's gotta go. So then they call him up to, like, let him know this information. He tells, like, the apartment management the same story. And they go, okay. Okay. So then they call me back and they're like, well, it's a he said, she said situation. So there's really nothing we can do because, mind you, they have no cameras and zero security. And they left the front door of our apartment complex open all day long. So all the homeless people would be camped out in front of my door. Like, anyways, so they were like, well, there's nothing we can do. Sorry. So I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna move then. Like,
Period,
what?
yes,
And then they tried
leave.
to not let me break my lease. They made me pay 2 extra months rent, or an extra month's rent or whatever, to leave. I was being stalked, bestie. Like, what?
Oh my God. No. Does anyone else want to just like go camp outside of her door with our dogs? Like, Murphy is a bit of a suck and he probably won't bite him, but like, he do got a loud, scary bark though. Just like his mama. Okay, so here's the deal. I feel like you could have gotten out of that lease because the windows that don't close or lock, I feel like that is leaving things in not working order. So they're effectively breaking their contract anyway. It's actually illegal for the apartments to make you pay 2 months rent when you were in danger at the premises. You should definitely sue them. I mean, not everybody has the money to sue, but you could threaten them. You could threaten them with a nice old letter. They'll back off. They'll back off. God, that wasn't even petty. That was just like a crazy, crazy neighbor story. Excuse me? Excuse me, sir. Want to explain that? Backstory, he got mad that the neighbors called the police on him and he thought it was us. The neighbors called since he was yelling and throwing things throughout the night. After the police arrived and talked to him, he got down to bang on our door. We called the police immediately and the same officer that was here to talk to him said they can't do much since he wasn't doing anything illegal. And although he is in the process of eviction, he has the right to be on the property. They said if he gets physical or attempts to break into our apartment, then we can press charges. I mean, is banging on the door not getting physical? Property manager has been trying to evict him, but hasn't been successful. We don't have an on-site manager, which makes things harder. Our neighbors, including myself, keep calling management, going to their office, sending emails and messages, but all they say is sorry and to wait until the sheriff shows up to evict him. I don't really know him since I moved here a couple months ago, but he constantly yells and gets angry with himself and takes it out on all of us living here. Here's the police arriving to talk to him a few moments after the police left. Oh my goodness. Stuff like this just makes me super, super happy that I have nice neighbors. You want to know what my neighbor did for me? I asked him if he could like just double check my door because I have packages coming through, like PR packages that like I don't have control over when they show up. They just show up. So I asked him to double check and just like take care of our packages, and he had a massive pile of them. Like there was maybe like five or seven of them when I got back from getting engaged. He was so nice. He just kept this big pile of packages for me. And not only that, he also took out our garbage so that the garbage truck would come and pick it up because we were away. It wouldn't have picked up our garbage because you got to wheel it out onto the street, right? He put the garbage out onto the street, put it back on the side of our house. When I tell you I got that man a nice bouquet of sunflowers and his wife. Oh God, we have an amazing update, y'all. Yeah? Nay. Nay. Oh God, low blood sugar. That's the laugh. I love how these police are just so nonchalant about it. They're just like, oh, it's another day, whatever. I hope all of you are blessed with lovely neighbors because it really should be like that. My neighbor hates birds.
Neighbor Prank Wars Part 11.
You gonna help me build it?
Yeah, me too. Oh. This is so wholesome. You're teaching
Boys,
your
which
kids
one?
to be petty.
The wild bird mix. Do we get this one? Look at the bird seed.
Look at these little accomplices in their flip-flops. Oh, we're putting apples. Apples too, eh? Come on, birds. Let's go, birds.
Still no bloody birds. What's going down?
Where are the birds?
Birds everywhere down the road.
Give us birds! Oh, in the bush. Love that.
Hello, bird.
Hello, bird.
You're first off the rank. Go and get your friends. Call them in.
Yes. Yes. Scope out the sitch. Scope it out. Oh, look at them all. Oh, my.
Perfect.
Oh, like an Alfred Hitchcock. Like an Alfred Hitchcock film. Is that your kid? Or the bird? Oh, they're gathering. Look at them all. Oh my. Oh, look at them. Oh, yes. They're like white doves too. Like what? Looks like you don't mind a cockatoo. Nice. Good pun.
Grass.
More than a million cockatoos. All the ones from your side.
That afternoon. Okay, that's it. You could have at least fertilized the rest of my lawn. I did with bird seed. Okay, I'm glad that we can have some like healthy, fun neighbor disputes, but also I hope there wasn't too much bird. Why do you have all of these beautiful birds and we have crows? This is why I'm like so confused. Like, did y'all see the birds that this man summoned with his bird seed? Like, aren't these doves? I feel like they look like doves. Look at that. Oh, a gorgeous bird. Is that a parrot? They're stunning. Who would not want those birds on their lawn? People keep those as pets. Where are there this many wild parrots? Brisbane. Okay, got it. Got it. He's in Australia. All right, mate. On second thought, I not only hope that y'all have good neighbors, I also hope you have neighbors that you can play petty pranks on and they'll laugh about it with you. See you, Sky?